And I do think this market, my upside target, rolling 12-month upside target is 46.25. If you look at in the S&P 500, if you look at what happened over the last 2 weeks, it makes you think it's very possible before the end of the year. And ultimately, though, as straight shot this market has been, there are pullbacks to capitalize, and I think that's where it's important to have a shopping list. Listen, I was out there in October calling for the 10-year yield to go from 60 basis points to 1.25, and it's there now. It hit that for the first time today, but that was the time to be buying banks.
Remember, OPEC's really been in control ever since the Biden administration. It seemed like the U.S. kind of tempered back on how we were going to control oil prices, and it seems like OPEC's playing more of an active role, right or wrong, on things. OPEC has done a great job helping support prices to promote some of their economies and things. They've taken off 130 million barrels of crude oil in excess supply since last June. We really believe that oil is going to be one of the best performing commodities, and I reiterated that long before this type of situation occurred. I mean, this is like a once in every 7 to 10 years you get this kind of weather development, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's excessive heat, or one of these, cold fronts that strikes an area that's not prepared for it. But the reality is that, crude oil prices over the last quarter are up about 43%.
Last week we saw an average daily trading range for the corn at about 20-22 cents. So we're starting to subside and consolidate a little bit, which is healthy for the market and really not all that surprising. We do have March options expiration tomorrow, and a lot of times going into options expiration, we start to see the volatility shrivel up, and that's exactly what we're seeing. And once we get past these March options going off the board tomorrow, we've been pretty optimistic on the livestock sector for the better part of the last 2 months on the idea that we'd start to see the fund participation pick up, and obviously we've seen that. But what we want to see is a market that stair steps higher. I think that builds for a longer term bullish trend.